Thanks, Sue. Yep, I had the mute on. That was Walter's job. He had one job to do. One job to remind you to turn off the mute, and he didn't. So, what I was blabbing about, and if those of you that don't read lips, happy Easter, everybody. And we'll probably be a little light on the ones in the chat today because, it's Easter and people have to get
People are
out
still
there.
Oh, yeah, okay, we're right. All right.
Some days I just don't know about you. Do you know there's a time delay?
No.
You do so. Anyways, happy Easter again for the 15th time to everybody. And we might be a little light today on the number of people here. Would you like to interrupt me now?
No.
No, fine. But of course, because you're probably out killing the bunny and eating the eggs or whatever, for Easter. So that's
Can
fine.
you afford eggs?
Plus, can you afford eggs? Yeah, that's true. Our eggs are expensive here, but nowhere as expensive as what you're paying for them in the States. So yeah, black market eggs. Hey, there might be something in that we could try. But anyways, welcome everybody. So let's see who's joined us on Easter. We've got Barb and we've got Dana and Faith and Charlotte and Linda is here and France and Glenna and Sue is here and Connie and Charlotte. Did I say Charlotte? Yeah, I did. And Pamela is here as well. Yep, and you should be able to hear us now. We had a little technical difficulty. Alice is here. Grant is here. Yep. Well, my lips are moving now, but you can probably hear sound from that. Yeah, bad Walter, Charlotte, exactly. Colleen is here. Hi, Colleen. And Karen is here from Southwest Washington. Grant says it's better now. Yeah, when you take the mute off on the microphone, it always works better. Laurel is here. Hi, Laurel. We haven't seen you for a while. Dubrovka is here, and Branka is is here. Yeah, we're going to my sister's for dinner, so we'll let you know about that. Mona is here. Yes, we're going to talk about my shirt in a minute, Faith. Thank you. Melissa is here, and Tamala is here, and Karen says, I wish the chat could be moved to the left side so I could see Walter.
Huh?
Oh, you must be watching it on a television screen, right? Because on a television screen or whatever device, if you're on a device that's not a computer, it's going to go over there and it can't be moved. There's nothing we can do about that. Sue's here. Happy Easter. We've had an exciting one here. Storms and tornado warnings. First one's touched down north of us, all clear for a while. Oh, geez, Sue. That's not good. So hopefully it won't come anywhere near you. And hopefully it doesn't come and destroy everybody else either, for that matter. It's something we don't usually have to worry about here.
Well, they have had tornadoes around us,
yeah,
but not it doesn't happen very often. They usually don't last very long.
No. But in our right where we are living, we don't have them right here. We have them sometimes north of us. But luckily
we did have that storm a couple of years ago.
That was a microblast or something they called it that came through. Yeah. Marjan is here. Hi, Marjan. So anyways, we've got a lot of people here and that is great. So thank you for spending part of your Easter with us. And let's see what's up. Well, Walter's latest creation. I am sporting it right now. As you can see, my new shirt. He's got it all done. And I quite like it, except for his comments. Now he's saying, yeah, now he has to make smaller ones for himself, but he can continue to make extra large for me. He's a bitch. He really is at times. I have walked 3 days in a row. Now he doesn't like me going with him on a walk.
Can't listen to my music.
Oh, well, I'll sing. When you like that, that might be fun. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Candace. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this shirt.
Yeah, it sort of looks like Van Gogh's
Starry Night,
but
it's not.
It's Timeless Treasures, Chongawang.
And
I think it's called Poppy Dreams.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's off the poppy dream. There's another uh fabric that has poppies all over it,
oh,
which I don't
so
have.
so they call this one Poppy Dreams too?
Yeah, it's part of it. It's the
But
sky.
there's no puppies.
It's the sky part. I have a pen.
Oh, oh, I see. Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, well, Joe So's is here. She said, "Thank you, Joe. Nice compliment. You both look very colorfully handsome. But who's more handsome, me or Walter?" Don't answer that. I will start something. Barb says, "What kind of music do you listen to, Walter?"
Oh, trance, dance music, Tiesto, Pet Shop Boys.
Eclectic. With that, he finds some of the weirdest music too, like doop,
Dance,
dance,
dope.
Yeah, that's it. You'd have to know the song. It's weird.
Something upbeat, light, has a good pace for me to walk to.
Yeah. Well, walk along. I've been thinking about when I get up. I get up fairly early in the morning, and I am toying with the idea of when I get up, before I do anything else for the day, I just go out and have a walk and then come back. But mornings are my most productive time of the day. Of course, mind you, another way, and then I wouldn't have to go with him because he'd be asleep. And then he'd be happy because I wasn't walking with him and cramping his style, and he could listen to his music. I was thinking, though, it might be a good thing to listen to, instead of listen to music, for me, maybe I should try an audio and see how that works out on something like that.
Walter, did I make it to church today? I don't go to church.
I think Vicky's being funny. Yeah.
I've never gone to church.
Why, if he walked into the doors of a church, a lightning bolt will come
In
down
fact,
and destroy
I have
him.
not been baptized.
Heathen. Heathen. I have been. Heathen. He's a heathen. I'm just trying to catch up here. Okay, so no, now would not be a good time to stick in ads, so go away, YouTube. It always comes up with that. So anyways, what else have I been working on? Well, yes, of course, I have been working on the Barnstar sampler. When am I not? I got a little bit further ahead, though, in the last week. And here's what I've managed to accomplish. So I got 4 more block sets done. So I'm finished up to block 17. So I've got 3 more sets of blocks to do. And they're a little quicker because they're a little smaller, I think. So who knows? Maybe this time next week I'll have started assembling the whole damn thing. I'll be very happy to see the end of it, I can tell you. I hope it's going to fit our bed. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Do I have another picture here of something? Oh yeah, I do, but we don't want to see that yet. Okay, so before you yell at me, I will get that screen down so we can see.
Did you let everybody see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's there. All right, forget.
You know, they always say you shouldn't, and when you're in the movie business, television business, YouTube business, never work with dogs or children or Walters. Yeah. Okay, so Pamela says she just started listening to an author you recommend, Louise Penny. Yeah, I've read all of her books to date. Her latest one comes out, I think, in the fall. So I've got it on pre-order, actually, for my Kobo. And when I did see that, who was it? Where is it now? I've lost it. Shoot. Oh, Karen. Karen says she's watching on a Roku. So yeah, it'll float over to the other side. And yeah, it would be nice if YouTube would put in a way that you could, shift it around. Because I know I have that problem too sometimes with it. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, we've got Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays as usual, 9 a.m. Start time, but you come and go as you please. Come later, come early, whatever. Stay as long as you would like. And there's a link for that. It's in the show notes below. So if you saw this So Chatty this week, we did foundation paper piecing in the hoop. More or less, it's an experiment, and I had Walter do a small block. Couldn't get him to sew all the blocks together though, because he wasn't interested in that. So I sewed them together, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Now, could make a pillow cover or something like that with it, I suppose. But anyways, it was an experiment, and I wish there were more FPP patterns out there for in the hoop, specifically for in the hoop. Because I would do more of those, because I don't like foundation paper piecing that much, but I don't mind it if it's in hoop style. But I did a lot of searches looking for stuff, and I found lots of foundation paper piecing, but it wasn't for in the hoop. Or some of the stuff that's in the hoop, and if you saw So Chatted, we talked about this, it's basically applique with a satin stitch around it, and that's not really FPP style. With that's embroidery more than anything, or at the least it's applique. So yeah, different thing. But now we don't have anything to do for next week, so I don't know what we're going to do. So if you've got some suggestions that you can put in the comments of this below, or send me an email with it, we definitely entertain them, because I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe Walter will come up with a brilliant idea. He has in the past, every now and then. So start thinking. Put your little thinking cap on here, because we need something for next week. So yeah. Let's see, what are people saying? Audiobooks are great during walks, Pamela says. Oh, Glenda says she listens to me when I go for a walk.
That's not something I would do. I listen to them all the time.
I have a special Easter egg for you. I haven't given it to you yet. I just have to finish getting all the cyanide in it. Joe So says, loves the Chongawang. I never know how you say that.
Chongawang.
Chongawang. It sounds like a song from the 80s.
Wang Chung.
Wang Chung now, yeah. Fabric line. Vicky says, I'm sorry, Stephen and Walter, for even asking. It's okay. Let's see, who else down there? Oh, Colleen says the colors in your Barnstar quilt are fabulous. Yeah, it's not my usual color scheme, but as I've said before, I had these fat quarter bundles of, sort of the 1930s stylish kind of fabric, so I thought I'd use them up. And I've actually, with working with them, I have a new appreciation for that. So maybe I should invest in some Lori Holt, because her stuff is a lot like that. Yeah, Barb, you either actually really, really love FPP, or you, like me, you really hate it. I find it tedious. It's not hard, but well, for me, I have a little problem cutting the pieces of fabric big enough. I'm kind of angularly challenged. And so, I get a piece that I think is going to be big enough, then you do the fold over and go, crap, that's too small. I do that all the time. Walter could make one of his bags. Yeah, we've done bags. And yeah, that wouldn't be one for, well, we could make a series out of that, but we've already kind of done that with it. So I don't know. But thanks for the suggestion, Dubrovka. Maybe we can find a twist on doing that kind of thing. I don't know. Vicky loves this shirt that you made.
Yeah, actually, we bought the fabric when we were in Dahlonega. I happened to see it, and I thought, oh, I really like that stuff, so I'll get some.
And I said, yes, I would really like a shirt made from that, and I got one.
And so the other week, I needed to cut a shirt out to take to my sewing class.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, what fabric did you want? He picked that one, so.
Yes, I did. Pamela says, didn't Walter purchase a paper piece kit a while back? You did.
I did.
You did, that very elaborate one.
I haven't done it yet.
Maybe that's what we should do in our next series. Maybe we should we just do the first part of it and try it out and see how we make out. You do yours, I do mine, because I've got that solar flare one. And there was talk of that being a sew along on other channels, which is fine, but I'll probably I don't really do sew alongs, because I feel like I'm getting
I don't
behind.
know about that.
We'll have to investigate it and see. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to start that kit yet.
Yeah, you may never start that kit. You spent a lot of money on that, kid.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Well, several hundred, wasn't it?
No, it was about it would have worked out about 200. So,
No. Oh, cheap at twice the price. Yeah. Really. But
because
yeah.
I mean, about it in American dollars. So.
Well, we'll have to think about it. Pamela says, yes, please. It would be great seeing you work up those kits. Yeah, maybe killing myself on it too. I don't know. Carol's here. Hi, Carol. If you hadn't used Lori Holt before, I would suggest not buying much to start. Her designs go in lines, and then when you cut across the width of fabric, the design is crooked. Oh, that's good to know. Didn't know that. Yeah, maybe just get a small bundle or just some fat quarters if I can find them or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, just what you need is more crooked pieces. So we voted. Yes, early vote. The official day of the election for our federal government is a week from tomorrow. But they had early polls. They started on Good Friday. And my goodness, were the lineups long.
Yeah, we often vote early because
Often.
We often vote early because it's not busy. Well,
Yeah.
it was busy.
Here's a picture. See the very far end where those doors are? Well, that's where we were just going off to the side of that, way up past that yellow sign. And this line, this is where we were in the line when I took the picture. The line was just as long as this behind us as well. But it moved pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well.
Until
and
we
they were
got in.
Sort of organized. They were a little bit clueless somewhere. I had to go, so.
Yeah, well, they had the polling stations marked by, like, there was a number for them. And there was a lady came out into the hall and she looked at our cards and told us, okay, you guys can go in now. And I guess they were trying to, like, we kind of cut ahead of the line a little bit.
Yeah, well,
much.
she looked at my card and saw that it was a V, as in Victor. And she says, oh, you can go in. But then he was a B. And she says, well, you're not really supposed to go in, but you might as well go in too.
Well, I think I know now what they were doing. We had a number. We had 603, and that marked our area in the room to go to. And there was two people sitting at one table that said 603, and then one lady sitting at the table that said 603. And there was a guy when we came in, and he looks at our card, and he says, oh, okay, you go in this line, to both of us. Well, what it turned out to, and so these two guys are sitting there and nobody's going up to them.
And they're not saying anything.
And they're not telling anybody anything. Well, what it was is we figured out after the fact, the lady had the letters A to K, and these guys had L to Z. But they weren't telling anybody that, and the tables weren't marked. Like, it would have killed them to put a piece of paper on saying A to K and L to Z. And telling these guys, if you're sitting here and there's nobody there, say to them, anybody with the letter in this part of the alphabet, come here. Duh. So there we were.
Yeah, well, so I had to wait for him anyway. So he got pretty close to the front. So I asked the lady at the front. She kept yelling out A to K. And I said, well, I'm a V. Where do I go? Oh, she points over to the two guys.
And then the guy that was supposedly his job was to direct people to the right spot, he disappeared.
Yeah.
And there was nobody there. So other people are coming in and they're looking, well, which line should we be in? And we're looking at it, we're not really sure. But I have never seen that many people on advanced polling day.
Well, now mind you, it was Good Friday. Probably nobody had anything
Well,
to do.
better, yeah, let's go down and vote. But apparently they've had record crowds for early voting across the country, according to the news. We don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. Like, we'll make no bones about it. We want Mark Carney in, the Liberals in power. We don't want the other guy, Poilievre, because he's ridiculous. He is absolutely a moron. The two major parties have already released their platform and their costing of their platform. We're going to put this much money into housing. We're going to put this much money into child or into healthcare, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. He hasn't released anything about it. And his platform seems to be based upon bringing back plastic straws. Yeah, not a good thing. in Canada, we are very, very much about the environment kind of a thing. And what was some of his other stuff? Oh,
Yeah.
something to do with prisons,
Oh
doubling
yeah,
sentences.
doubling sentences of like if somebody's convicted of a murder, a violent murder or something like that, then the 25 years in jail isn't enough. They have to be in for life. So
Yeah. And a couple of other minor things. He's not dealing with, and we all know what the main issue is here in Canada right now, right? And he's not dealing with that at all. I mean, it would just be disaster if they get into power. And, no, let us hope. I'm hoping that these people who have come out and in record numbers, and I think part of the record numbers is because we're showing our solidarity with our country, that we're not going to become the 51st state and all that. That's what's really bringing them out, because I think in the last election there was what, about 50% came out to vote.
no, actually, I looked at statistics yesterday, and apparently about 65% or so came out to vote.
65%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a good turnout. So we'll see what it is this year. And
Yeah, it'd be good if it's a higher percentage.
yeah, we want a higher percentage of that. No Barb. I did not. Well, I watched bits and pieces of it, but I didn't sit through the whole thing, 2 hours of it, and watch it.
Yeah, I watched it for a little while.
Yeah. And what did you think? How did Mark Carney hold himself? I think he did
Yeah,
okay.
he did okay.
With that. Polyev did everything he possibly can. He's kind of say Mark, well, they do this, right? They all go after each other's juggler. They never talk about the real issues and the whole bit. It doesn't matter who it is. That's just the nasty business of politics and debates. I don't even know why they bother having debates with it, because you don't know. You're not going to know until you know. That's the thing. Lots of speculation.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, even unfortunately for the Conservative Party here, every leader they seem to pick seems to be a dud. So
yeah. Now Karen says Mark Carney seems extremely qualified to be a prudent vote. Well, the thing about Mark Carney is he has a background in economics. I mean, he was president of the Bank of Canada, the governor of the Bank of Canada. He was the governor of the Bank of England as well. He's done all kinds of things in the financial world. He is more of a financial person than he is a politician. And right now, I think we need a financial person. Polyev doesn't know, how to deposit a check at a bank, kind of a deal. Well, yes, people do that for him probably. But yeah, and I think we need somebody like that. Meanwhile, the NDP are all sitting there. They know they're not going to get in. They haven't got a hope in hell of that. But hopefully that people who would maybe normally vote for the NDP will come over and vote for the Liberals, like not split the vote up a little bit, because we really need a Liberal majority. Whether we're going to get a Liberal majority, out west, they're very conservative there. So who knows what's going to happen. But, you watch the polls, but nobody knows until it's done. So we just have to hang in there and wait and see. Vicky says that guy sounds like the redheaded pumpkin in this country. Yeah, very much so. In fact, he has been in alignment with Trump as well. Marjan said it was to disallow consecutive sentences. Yeah, I don't totally disagree with that, but that isn't one of the biggest issues in our country right now.
A huge issue. I mean, I don't think it's a huge issue compared to the crime is a big issue and everything else, but how the way they sentence people right now, I don't think it's a huge priority in need of reform.
No. Colleen says if prison time is doubled, taxes will be higher to pay for the upkeep of prisoners. Will they be privatized? Well, that's the next thing he's not saying. I would not doubt if a conservative government came in, because their middle name is privatize. They privatize everything in this country. I mean, they want in the provincial level, they want to privatize the healthcare system. They want a two-tiered healthcare system. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the next thing, but he's not saying that at this point. But yeah. Karen says, that's what I mean. Our orange turd is leading us into a worldwide depression. Carney would be a prudent choice at this time. Yeah, you need somebody that knows how world finances work. Yeah, Barb says typically Western Canada is conservative and Eastern Canada is liberal.
Except for BC.
Except for BC. BC is NDP.
Yeah, BC tends to be NDP.
Yeah, with it. So it would be nice if they decided screw the NDP and move on to the Liberals, but we'll see. But nobody knows. We won't know until next Monday comes and goes, and then we'll have to deal with whatever from that then. And as Canadians, we will. But hopefully, Mark Carney is the one to choose. Okay, so what else? So voting's next Monday. Yeah. So what other things this week have we done? Well, you know, it's spring. Why? Because we've had the weed man come to the door, and I don't mean one selling us pot. I mean the guy that comes over and pretends that they can get rid of your weeds for you and do nothing, and you cost a lot of money. They're out all over, and I said weed man because that's one name of one of the major companies that do this, but there's a bunch of other ones trotting them down. Oh, we just talked to your neighbors, they've got our service. Well, it sucks to be them. Bye-bye. No, I have a weed man. He takes great delight going out there and getting seeding. We just got grass seed at Costco again to have that thick and lush lawn. Now, you know what happened last year? Our lawn was so nicely seeded, and then that girl that was high as a kite flopped herself down on it and
killed everything.
Killed everything, rolling around on it as she was high and loaded, and her bosoms were mucking up her front lawn. Yeah, we talked about that last spring. Yeah, you know, what is it? There's a joke song about the sap is run, or the sap's something like that about sap. So yeah, we're getting that at the door. Still a little nippy here, but I know for Dubrovka, it's very nippy up in Timmins, and they've still got 5 feet of snow. So yeah, so if you come up here from the southern United States or that looking to ski in July, keep going to Timmins. Even by then it should be gone, but we'll see. So other things that I learned how to paint on my 3D printer. And what I mean is in the software, how to add color to things by actually going in and with electronically painting it. I'm going to talk about that on my vlog this week because it opens up a whole new world I never had before, and I'll show you some things that I did last week. I'm also going to talk on the vlog on Monday about 3D printing. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing with my poop. How I can make art out of my poop.
Poop art.
The poop art. In fact, Walter's head is...
We'll call you Anne.
Yeah. They don't know what Anne is. Oh no, and that'd be too hard to explain to them. It's a visual that has to be seen. But anyways, yeah, so I'm really having a lot of fun with my bamboo printer. I really want a second one. Yeah. Not yet, but I do want a second one. Maybe not their latest one, because I've been watching the reviews on that, and there's been some problems with it. It's also like twice the price of this one that I've got. But I'm quite like it. And my KEs, I'm still using my Creality KEs, and they're working really well, especially since I'm slicing my models in Bamboo Studio. It seems the settings in it are better, and they're giving me better quality things. So... yep, busy with all of that. Dubrovka says skiing is big business in Timmins. And Betty's here. Hi, Betty. Well, you might not be late, Betty, because we were early today. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, and apparently when I put up my short this morning, I put the wrong date. I put April 30th. So, but I changed it later. But it was up there most of the day as April the 30th. slip of the fingers, and that was, I forget who sent me a note to tell me that that was what it said. I went in and did change it. What's else here's on my list? Worst. Oh, ordered new fabric from Northcott. Northcott came out with a new line in the O Canada series, O Canada series number 13, and I really like it. In fact, I hadn't known about this if it hadn't been for one of my regular subscribers. I don't think Pat's on here today. No, who comes to the Wednesday Sew Days. She asked, she had seen this fabric being advertised on So Yeah, and she said it was Northcott. Never did find. What's the matter? Hair falling in your eyes?
No, I'm sort of like noticing it's not very neat. It's not very neat.
Would you like a glue gun to put that down? What? I don't know. Anyways, so I went looking for what she was talking about, and I found this on Northcott, and I'm going to talk about it on the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday, but I really like this line of it. But that's going to be for another Quilt of Valor eventually, once I get it. Of course, I've ordered it from Quilticious, which I've talked about before. I really like their stuff. But, of course, I ordered it on Thursday, and then we had Good Friday, and this is, Easter thing. So I'm not in any rush anyway, so that's fine. I'm sure I will get it. They're a great company to deal with, and their prices are pretty good. $19 a meter for most of their stuff.
Yeah, they're located in Windsor, right?
Yeah, they're in Windsor. So actually that's $19 Canadian that I'm talking, of course. Okay, so let's talk about the spring retreat. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I'll be honest about it. I have a not a bad turnout of people registering, about 54 to date. But I've had more with this. So you either hate my bloody guts because of all the things I've been saying about the United States, and that's fine. Don't hurt my feelings with it. Or, maybe you're a little, if you're an American, maybe you're afraid that there's going to be political discussion during the retreat. I'm going to tell you this right now. There will be absolutely no political discussion at the retreat. Nothing. The retreat is designed to be a day of fun and a day of escape, a day to get away from all these things that we are bombarded with constantly. So there'll be none of that. It's a happy space. And if anybody starts up with it, and I don't think anybody will, but if anybody does, I'll kibosh it. Right. We will not be talking about politics at all. Nothing. We are not going to mention it from either part of the border, either side of the border. So anyways, there are still spots available, of course. And I did originally say that I was closing. No, I'm keeping that. Registration doesn't close until midnight Wednesday of next week, April 23rd. And that means midnight, whatever time zone you're in. Okay, for that. And for those of you that have already registered but have not yet sent me a picture for the show and share, for the trunk show, if you want to, you can definitely send that to me. And I realized that I had put the due date for that for tomorrow, but this is Easter weekend. So you've probably been busy doing other things with family. So I've extended that to Wednesday as well. So the same thing as the registration. I think originally I put it at that date, not thinking of Easter, because I wanted time to put the slideshow together. It does take a bit of time, but actually I've been building the slideshow as the slides have been coming in, as the pictures have been coming in. So yeah, that's not as much of a crush that I have to worry about. So anyways, yep, so there's still spots available. So all you have to do is send me an email, say you want to be in, and remember, it's free. It's free. There's prizes, there's guest speakers. It's fun, and there'll be no politics. I want everybody to leave that retreat feeling good, and that's the goal for that. Yeah, so having said that, I'm just checking here if there's any I think we're all caught up on everybody. Okay, so today will be, and you're all going to go, thank God it's over, our last discussion of what I've been calling FYI Canada. This will be the last one. What we're going to talk about next, I have no idea as a main theme, but you know us. We'll talk about anything. So today what we're going to look at is symbols of Canada, because stereotypes are created from symbolism. And every country has their symbols. So we thought we'd go through some of the symbols here and also take a look at our money, because a lot of people think our money is really weird looking. We think it's beautiful. But some symbols. And let's see. Here we go. So, of course, our chief principal symbol is the maple leaf. Why? Well, basically, we have a lot of maple trees, but we have more than this. I'm not sure what the name of this particular type of maple. It's the most common one, but we have other varieties of maples that don't have quite exactly the same look as this maple leaf, but this is iconic for us in Canada. Also, we have a lot of trees in Canada, so we have a huge lumber business, and of course maple syrup comes from this variety of maple tree as well, which is another symbol of Canada. Maple syrup. I swear people in other parts of the world think we eat maple syrup every meal of the day. We pour it on everything. We had maple syrup this morning.
No, it wasn't real maple syrup.
It was your no sugar added.
Yeah.
Ugh. No, we know maple syrup is, although that brand doesn't taste bad.
No, actually, it's not bad.
It's almost, as good as the real stuff. But no, we don't eat it on everything. However, in the early days of when people came here to this country first, they did use maple syrup for a lot of things. Of course, they used it as a sweetener, but they also used it as a curing agent. Like our bacon tastes a little different from American bacon because a lot of our bacon that's made in Canada is maple sugar cured, as opposed to being smoked cured. So it has a little bit of a different flavor to it. People will pour maple syrup in their coffee, not just on pancakes. People will pour maple syrup on eggs. The crazy ones. Maple syrup, they use it to cook. Maple syrup can be one of the principal ingredients to a Canadian butter tart, although mostly they use corn syrup for that, but maple syrup, you can have maple syrup in them too. So it's a very versatile kind of food product, which I know that they make maple syrup in Vermont and places like that, but Canadian maple syrup is better. At least we think so. Oh, Andy's here. Hi, Andy. Colleen says she's looking forward to the retreat. She has 2 projects planned that day. And Sue says, I had real Canadian maple syrup for lunch. Dipping sauce for chicken and waffle sandwich. Yum. I've stockpiled the real stuff. Dipping sauce. Okay, well, there's that infamous chicken and waffle combination. We need to try that someday and just see what the hubbub is about that and try it. I would think with maple syrup on it's just a waffle with maple syrup and a little chicken, but I don't know. I think they put the white gravy stuff on it, whatever, but sounds gross, but we'll try it someday. Okay, so of course the maple leaf is on our Canadian flag. Now here's something I just learned about our flag. Our flag has a red maple leaf on a white background with 2 red strips on either side. If you count the points on that maple leaf, there are 11 points. I was told many years ago that that was symbolic of 10 provinces, 1 point for each province of Canada, and 1 point to represent the territories.
Well, is that a real Canadian flag? Because I only count 9 points.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bottom.
Oh, okay, 2 bottom.
Yeah. Learn to count. And that the red strips meant the two coasts, the western coast and the eastern coast, from sea to sea. Apparently, according to this from the government, that doesn't mean anything. It says it's created as a neutral symbol of Canada unity. There is no official explanation of what the colors or bars are supposed to mean. I guess someone decided that red. Well, I was also told the reason that there's red and white in it is because they're derived from the original flag, which was the Union Jack when we were a British colony, which eventually got changed into what they called the red ensign, which is a version of the Union Jack. And the red ensign can still be seen in the Ontario flag. But apparently, according to this, nope, that isn't what it was. We'll come back to the Canadian flag because it was a bit controversial when they decided on this, because it's a relatively new flag for us. It wasn't adopted until 1965 in Canada as our flag. Oh, Andy says, Jeannie says hi. She's listening by phone. Okay. Sue says, no gravy. Okay. Mona has a prior commitment on retreat day. That's okay, Mona. No problem. I mean, life happens, right? Canadian animals. Okay, here's what we're famous for. Beavers. Of course, we're famous for beavers. However, you know, we have a love-hate relationship with beavers. Those of us that don't live in areas where we have running water through our farm or our area think they're really cute. Those people that have streams running through don't think they're so cute because beavers do a lot of damage. First of all, they cut down a lot of trees to build their dams, and then they block up the water supply and they cause flooding with it all. So yeah, but they are a protected animal. So the best you can do to avoid this is you can't trap them, you can't shoot them. You have to go and blow up their dam. And yes, you have to blow up the dam with explosives, because these beavers know what they're doing. These are very well built, and some of them can be really, really huge. So they're industrious little animals, but they're also very destructive. Then we have moose. Well, you don't pet a moose and live to tell about it. And then we got the Canada goose. This is one bird that most Canadians absolutely hate because they used to go south for the winter. They don't anymore. They hang out all year round. They crap on everything. They hang out in urban environments. And the thing that's really popular now about urban environments when they're building a new subdivision is they put in these water features like a pond. Guess who comes to those? The ducks and the geese. And they're nasty. You walk up to a goose, they're going to let you have it.
Especially when they've got little kids.
Oh yeah, when they're in their season for, which is right about now, when they're having little geese, and they can't fly when they're having little geese, which I'm not really sure what the scientific reason for that is, but it has something to do with what the feathers molt or something like that. And you will see them taking the brood across a busy road, and all cars stop because they are pretty much protected too in Canada, although when duck hunting season comes along, it's open season on them too. But that's only for a few weeks in the year, in the fall kind of a deal. So, yeah, they're nasty little creatures. They won't go south. So we have other animals. We have, of course, the loon, and the loon is on our $1 coin, and that's why we call it the loonie. The loons are a sacred bird to the Indigenous people, and they are also the national bird of Canada. You might think the Canada goose is the national bird. It is not. It is the loon. So yeah, and the beaver is the national animal as well of Canada. Now the beaver, going back to the beaver, was very important to the settlement of Canada because the fur traders came, and it was very fashionable to wear a beaver hat in Europe, in England especially. And so they came and they got the pelts of the beavers, and they made a lot of money. You know, and they traded the Indigenous people for beaver pelts and things like that. So they almost wiped out the beaver in doing that, and that's why they are now protect it because of that. And Barb says, hence the name Eager Beaver. Yep. Yep. So that's some of our animals. Now, we do have a coat of arms. You don't see it that often. I believe it's in, if you go to the legislature, the parliament in Ottawa, it is in the chamber, in the House of Commons, on the wall up above it. But it's interesting coat of arms because it's really a blend of pieces from the coats of arms of both England and France. So that's why up here we have the British flag, the Union Jack, and we have the fleur-de-lis. And of course, because we are a country that's made up of both French and English, that's why we have both of those. Of course, we have the monarchy, represented by the crown at the top and the lion, which is a symbol of royalty as well. These two animals, the unicorn and the lion here, one represents France and one represents England. And then we have the wording around this, which is all in Latin. The one at the bottom means from sea to sea. This one, I think they say it here. It says they deserve a better country, which acknowledges the immigrants who have built Canada and Canadians as well. So that's in there too. And some flowers. I don't know if these flowers are anything significant or what they are. They're just decoration. But we do have a coat of arms. Oh, and then these pieces here. We have the maple leaf, of course, on this. We have the fleur-de-lis for Quebec. I am really not sure about these other symbols that are on here. Oh, sorry, it's the English lion and the Scottish unicorn. I didn't know there were unicorns in Scotland. Well, whatever. But I'm not sure what these pieces mean. The harp and whatever these are, row of lions. I'm not sure where they come from, what they're supposed to mean. Maybe they don't mean anything, like our flag. Maybe they don't mean nothing. Somebody thought it was pretty and put it together. Another one of our symbols is very famous, almost to the point of stereotype. It's the RCMP. Now, in this picture, they're showing you wearing their official outfits, which they do not wear from day to day. You're not going to go down a street unless it's a special occasion and it's like a parade or something like that. You're not going to see a Mountie running around in that outfit at all. They are a police brigade. They've been here since pretty much the beginning of time. They were created originally to control the parts of Canada that hadn't been settled yet. Mainly the Indigenous people and stuff like that. But they have a bigger role now in Canada than doing that kind of thing. But if you come to Canada and you want a souvenir of Canada, you're going to find a Mountie statue somewhere in these outfits. And it says here, the RCMP was founded in 1873, originally known as the Northwest Mounted Police, and were initially used to bring law and order to Canada's newly acquired prairie provinces and northern territories. And you'll find them in Hollywood movies and Dudley Do-Right of the Mounted Police, if you remember that old cartoon, with the damsel on the railroad track and Snidely Whiplash and everything like that. Yeah, they don't do that. But they do have, every year they go to things like the Canadian National Exhibition or special events, and they have the mounted police, what do they call it? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police ride. They have these horses that are trained, and it's supposedly, I've never seen it live, but it's supposed to be something to really see because it's precision horseback riding, I guess, in the configurations that they do. And then, of course, we do have a national anthem that keeps... Ask a Canadian what the words are to a national anthem, and depending on how old they are, there's going to be a different set of words because they keep changing them. The version we learned in school was, O Canada, our home in native land, true patriot love, for all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, our true north strong and free. What's the next line? Oh, Canada,
Scroll.
something down. Well, yeah, but this is the original version.
No.
Anyways, they changed a few things. Now they got rid of. We had I think something about the Queen in there.
You had for all our sons command. Now it says in all of us
Yeah.
command.
In all of us command. So we got rid of the sexism in it. In all of us command, that wasn't in there before. That's a line that's been changed too. What else has been from far? Oh, from far and wide. We didn't have from far and wide in the version we learned in school at our age. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, can we stand on guard for the? Oh, can we stand on? Yeah. So the rest of it's pretty much the same. So it's gone through several changes over the years. And this is only the first verse. There's a whole bunch of verses. And before we actually had a national anthem, they used to sing back in 1867 was the Maple Leaf Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then O Canada in 1880. And of course, used to have two things we had to sing or stand up to in school years ago when we went to school. You stood for the national anthem for O Canada, and you stood up for God Save the Queen, which would now be God Save the King. You don't hear that much anymore. I think, yeah, O Canada is still played in schools. But God Save the King or Queen,
Yeah, they got rid of that.
That got rid of that years ago. Like they got rid of the Lord's Prayer too. They used to do the Lord's Prayer when we went to school in the morning, but they don't now. They just play O Canada, and the kids don't sing it. We used to sing it when we were in school. In elementary school, we sang along with it, but not anymore. So no wonder none of us know the words anymore to it. And there's many, many verses. And of course, the French version of it is slightly different. And of course it would be, because everything about Quebec is slightly different from the rest of Canada. And well, I don't know what they're talking about in this. So yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes. Barb says in some of John Candy's movies, for I'm not sure what. Oh, Candace says maple flavored liquor. Yeah. And Andy says in the U.S. we had the Buffalo Soldiers who were also responsible for policing in the wilderness areas. Yeah, probably a similar thing. Barb says from far and wide. Yeah, that's different from the original version that we used to sing or learned when we were in school. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people sing the national anthem anymore. It's played, but they don't sing along with it because they probably don't know the words. Now, flags. Just back to that.
It was O Canada. We stand on guard for.
That's it. We stand on guard for. Well, that's still in there.
Is it?
Yeah, that was still in there. But anyways, yeah, they'll probably change it some more. They talk about the history of the Canadian flag. Well, we've already basically talked about it. Originally, we were under the British flag, so that's the Union Jack. And then it became stylized and became the red ensign, which was the flag that we grew up with until 1965, but we probably don't remember the red ensign.
I don't remember it very well.
No, because in 1965, and it was very controversial at the time when they asked for Canadians to input, send in drawings and things like that. School children did, other people did, and they had a whole lot of weird things that people wanted to make the flag out of. Some of them were very, very complicated too. I think that's why they went a little more simplistic, because
they had it also where they had the red maple leaf and the stripes were blue.
That's right.
Like that.
Yeah. And that was too American, I think, for a lot of people. There's Lester B. Pearson was the prime minister at the time, showing the winning entry for the Canadian maple leaf. They don't tell you in this article who it was that submitted. Actually, there wasn't one person. It was a composite. They made it up from what they saw people sending in with it. And we do have provincial flags, like you have state flags. our provincial flag is not that one. Is this one. Very close to the same one as Manitoba, though. The only difference is the crest on it. This is the official Ontario flag. And this is the Union Jack, or the red ensign, actually. No, that's, no. Yeah, that's the red ensign. And then it's got the crest of Ontario on it as well. So you can see these are all the different flags of Canada. They all have some kind of symbolic message with it. Where's the Quebec flag?
Scroll down.
Oh, there we go. There's the Quebec flag with the fleur-de-lis. Yeah. Prince Edward Island right here for Colleen. For Melissa, Saskatchewan. For Dana. Where's there's the Alberta flag.
Okay.
There's the Manitoba flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. British Columbia. They're kind of pretty. None of it. Which is a territory. Yukon flag, territory. And of course they talk here about city flags, but who cares about that? Funny thing is, in this article, they talk about all these flags, and down here they talk about French Canadians, their flag, Aboriginal flags, Francophone flags, Canadian military flags, Governor General flags. They do not talk about the Pride flag.
No.
Which is unusual.
Well, maybe that's not really a truly Canadian symbol.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe, yeah, because it doesn't represent.
No.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that could be. So, anyways, flags. Now, okay. Colleen says the musical ride of the RCMP is spectacular, and I've seen it in an open field. The horses are born on the Mississippi River, the Canadian one located in eastern Ontario. Oh yeah, that's in the Ottawa area, I think. Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen it on TV, but I've never seen it in real life. So another thing I thought which might be interesting is our money. Because how many times have Americans turned around and said it looks like Monopoly money? No, it doesn't. It's very pretty, though, I think. But we feature, like you do on your money, presidents, we feature both prime ministers on some of the bills, but also famous Canadians. And they change it every now and then. Now, right now, they are going to change the $20 bill and put the picture of King Charles on it. But that's not supposed to come out until 2027. So we've got a ways to wait. He better live till then. Either that, or it's going to cost us a lot of money to switch over the plates. But I thought it might be interesting to see if Walter can identify the prime ministers in this. Who's this prime minister? Don't be reading the fine print.
Laurier?
Oh, very good, not guess. You read the fine print. That's Laurier. Now, which prime minister was he? What number?
I can't remember that.
He wasn't our first prime minister.
Oh, actually, I wouldn't be.
I thought he was our second prime minister, but he was not. John A. Macdonald was our first prime minister, but actually, Laurier was our 8th prime minister. So I thought he was number 2, but no, a little wrong about that. $10 bill? That's Macdonald, our first prime minister. And the thing that's unique about Canadian money is it's plastic. It's a polymer. So it is less easily destroyed, and you can wash it without any problem, and it lasts longer. So it feels a little funny. Feels kind of vinyl.
5 is our smallest denomination.
Yeah, 5 is our smallest bill because we have a loonie, which is a $1 coin, and we have a toonie, which is a $2 coin. And, well, actually, I thought I had a thing here. I guess I've done up there about the coins. But they are talking, and they have been talking, but they haven't done anything about it yet. They're talking about a $5 coin. So I don't know about that. I mean, if you get a pocket full of loonies and toonies, it really
Now,
weighs you
mind
down.
you, we don't usually.
Well, of course, we
neither
don't.
one of us usually.
That's right. We
pay
don't use money
with cash.
anymore. So yeah. Here's the 20. Now the 20. Come on, move over. 20. There it is. Right now, it still has the Queen on it, but of course she's dead. This will be where King Charles will appear. And the 50 has, I think that's
Mackenzie King.
That's Mackenzie King. Yeah. And he was our, there he is. No, is it Mackenzie King or William Lyon? No, it was
Yeah, that would be him.
That's William Lyon. Oh yeah, William. Yeah, that's right. He was our number 12, 14th, and 16th prime ministers. Boy, he really knew how to work it out. So yeah, our money is not funny. Oh, here's one, the 100. That's Borden. Borden's milk. No, I don't think there's any relationship there. Borden was prime? He was the 9th and the 10th prime minister. So, yeah, they hopped around a little bit, but those are up. But on the back of them, there'll be sometimes they'll put famous people, or symbols of Canada on them.
Yeah, or buildings
or buildings, something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, our money is. I think our money's very pretty, and our money looks very much like the
Australian money.
Yeah, Australian money looks very much the same as ours. But was theirs polymer?
Yeah, they're polymer
I think there's
too.
two. Yeah. So come back here. So yeah, so that's it about Canadian society. You've gotten quite an education. I've learned some things too. Like I didn't know the Canadian flag wasn't symbolic of anything. That's kind of a letdown. But yeah, so something I want to address though on a serious note. Okay. We have been American bashing in this series. We have been. Because we were hurt. And when I say we, I mean Canada. I mean Canadians. And we still are. But, and you know the reasons why. But this doesn't, I want to clarify, and I did this at the beginning of this series, but I don't think some people understood what I meant. We were bashing the concept of America, the politics of it. We weren't bashing Americans as individual people. As individual people, you are not that much different from us, or we're not that much different from you. Yes, we have certain symbols. We have certain cultural habits, if you wish, or that kind of thing. But people are people, okay? And we do realize that you are hurting right now as well. And that's a horrible thing. And so I want to bring it back to what I said about my retreat. We're not going to get into politics with it, because everybody is welcome there. And it's the same in Canada. For the most part, we are not attacking Americans if they come across the border, as long as everybody is civil. If you come into Canada with both barrels blasting at us, you're going to get it back. Okay, but I think a sensible person on either side of the border, you don't go into another country and, stir up crap with it. So, we don't hate Americans as people. We hate American politics right now. And yes, a certain part of your society put the orange clown into office. But we know that wasn't all the Americans. That 50% of you at least voted against him. And there are other reasons why he got in. Who knows? He hasn't been picking on us lately. I mean, the tariffs are there, but he hasn't been saying disrespectful things about our prime minister or about our, or talking about the 51st state lately. Wonder why? Is he afraid of Mark Carney? He should be, because Mark Carney, there's no flies on him. He's not going to roll over and play dead. Trudeau didn't either, but Trudeau knew he was going out. So he was just biding his time until his replacement could be found, I think, is how he was doing things. So it'll be interesting to see what if Mark Carney gets in as prime minister, what the relationship is going to be like between the two. Hopefully, it will be it will be on the road to a better relationship. But I don't want Americans to think that we as a country, as Canadians, hate you as people. We don't. We get it. We know what happened. And it's a sad state of affairs. But I guess we'll survive, won't we? What's the alternative? You know, we've survived this long, being two countries on either side of an imaginary border, as Trump called it.
Aren't all borders imaginary?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But we've all gotten along. So, you know, I think we can do that. It's going to be a little hard for a little while, but this too shall end. This too shall pass, as they say. Barb says vertical note on the $10. Vertical note. What's a vertical note? Oh, do you mean the little, this little thing up here? That's the 100.
What, you mean the vertical picture
of McDonald? Is that what you're talking about? Of course, all these things are put in here so that, like, there's a hologram on here too.
Yeah, that's
this one would be the hologram.
Yeah.
Right, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I think so. And the holograms there again to stop counterfeiting on it. With it, it's harder to reproduce one of our bills when it comes to trying to reproduce the hologram. Vicky says we all bleed red. True. Oh, Arta's here. Hi, Arta. She says, yes, we are hurting.
Were you going to go over the coins or?
Well, I had it here, but I don't know where.
I saw it pop up somewhere.
Just let me see.
There was something when we're just out in the other screen that.
What, in here?
You go to Prime Ministers. Okay. No. There was someplace that I saw where you had where it showed coins.
I had found it earlier. Canadian. Is that a good first strike? Oh, that's something that's trying to sell it.
Go back.
It's here somewhere. Canadian coin lists.
No, there was few. If you go back a screen, go back.
I can't go back. It's not going to go. What do you mean? Which screen?
Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to go back there.
I thought you had it. It said pictures of Canadian coins, and then you clicked on.
I did, but it disappeared. I don't know what happened. I must have put something over top of it, but I had it here. You'd think it would be easy to find.
Oh wow.
Well, anyways, the coins have, animals on it. What's this? Canadian coins, banknotes. They don't like to publish pictures of the coins. I don't know why. Unless you're buying them. Well, I can't find that, so whatever. You can oh, here's something. Oh, I know where it is. Okay. Mind fart.
There.
Here we go. Okay. I found it. Here we go. Okay. So, our Canadian coins. So, the $1 has a loonie on it. A loon on it. We call it a loonie. The toonie, we call it a toonie because it's 2 loonies worth, but it's got a polar bear on it, and it's kind of neat. There's a little story about this. When they first came out with this coin, there was a problem in the way it was minted. This center part, in some cases, you could pop it out. Not on all of them, but there was a batch, I guess, that were a bad batch, and so it fell apart. Our quarter has a moose. Is it a moose or an elk?
The moose.
It's a moose, I guess. We have a sailboat, which is the Blue Nose, which is a very famous sailing ship in the East Coast. The nickel has, of course, the good old beaver. And our penny, we don't have a penny anymore. But when we had a penny, we had the maple leaves on it. And there's something on the flip side, and I don't know what it is. This would be considered the heads side of the coins. So there you go. Okay. And just see
Actually,
here.
they're the tail side of the coin. The head
What,
side.
the tail side?
The head side.
Oh, has the queen.
has the queen on.
Has the
other
queen
side.
on the other side. Is she on all of them?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't had change in a long
I
time.
don't have
I
any
can't
change in
remember.
my body.
I mean, we're such a society that doesn't use coin much anymore. Money.
We
Period.
don't.
We don't.
Actually, I was behind somebody the other day that actually paid in cash.
Oh my God. How primitive. How last year. Let's see here. I'm just trying to catch up. Charlotte says she's really enjoyed all the history of Canada. Oh, I'm glad you did, Charlotte. Betty says, hi, Barb and Vicky. Hope you had a great day. Oh, Andy says your current PM knows how to play hardball. Yeah, that's what we want. And Artist says, just wait. He'll come back and you won't know it.
Who?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who she means.
Well, maybe Trump.
Maybe Trump, yeah. KW's here. Hi, KW. She says, hi, I'm in California. Yes, we are hurting, but I'm very proud that our governor is starting to fight back. Yeah, several of your governors have started to fight back, which is a good sign, I think. Yeah, so, yeah, some of the governors have done some things there. Well, obviously they see what it means for their state, like with these tariffs and stuff, I guess. So, yeah. But who knows? I'm just so sick of seeing it all on YouTube. You can't find anything on YouTube that doesn't have a reference to Trump on it, it seems. And so that's why this is the end of our series. We are going to, unless something really drastic takes place that just needs commentary on it, we're not going to do this anymore. No, we're going to go back to our previous programming and talk about things, they may be mundane, but at least they won't make us all stay up at night and worry about things and all that kind of stuff. Because I am sure we have all had enough of this discussion. And yeah, I want to get back to sleeping again over this. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same way. So we're going off to my sister's for din-dins tonight, which will be nice. She has her in-laws joining us too. It's always nice to see them as well. And my nephew and my niece will be there. And as far as I know, my nephew's girlfriend will be there. We haven't heard it otherwise I guess it's still on or whatever. So we've got that. And I'm taking over those 2 little purses that I made, one for my niece and one for my nephew's girlfriend. And I made eggs, but dragon eggs. And I showed those back on the vlog at one point, and I filled them. We went to the bulk barn yesterday and got Smarties. We got Smarties. We didn't buy M&Ms. Smarties are the Canadian equivalent to M&Ms, but they taste a little different. They will melt in your hand and in your mouth. There's M&Ms. I hate to say this, But I had a few of those Smarties yesterday. Almost like M&M's better. I don't know why. But anyways, I wish they make Smarties with peanuts in them. I love the M&M peanut ones. But nope, we're eating Canadian candy. Yeah, for that. For those of us that eat candy. Walter had to get some of his no sugar added fake gummies that have the stuff that make you crap. If you have too many of them. What was it the girl said to you, or you said you were?
No, one of the girls at the cash register said, "Oh, they're really good." I said, "Yeah, but you can't have too many of them."
Yeah. Ask us how we know. Yeah. They certainly do work through your system very well. Denise says, I personally like Trudeau. He's a handsome man. Why did Canadians turn on him? Well, just like all people, right, in any country when it comes to politicians, we all have love-hate relationships with them. It wasn't so much that the Canadian people as a whole turned against him. It was his own party. And they put the seeds of disgruntlement into the Canadian population
Well,
against
not only
him.
that, there's maybe a few policies that he had that
were popular.
were very popular. And so rather than correcting them, he kept going with it, and people started getting fed up with it.
Yeah. And I liked Trudeau. I think Trudeau did a good job for the years he was in until this recent situation. I think he was tired out.
He seemed to be very good with crisis situations.
He's also very diplomatic.
Yeah.
As well. I think he basically he was worn out, and I think his party were, I don't know, they were turning against him. And I'm really not sure if I ever really understood the exact reason what their problem was. I think one of the problems was, well, what really got him was when he removed the Minister of Finance, a woman, Christine Freeland, who was very good.
She was popular.
Yeah. He basically turned around and demoted her. He gave her another portfolio and put somebody else in the job she had. And she didn't take to that very kindly and wrote an open letter to Trudeau about it that everybody saw. And that's probably one reason why she was in the running for leader of the party, but she didn't get it because she was smart, but I'm thinking about it again. We have the same problem as Americans have when it comes to women in politics. A woman does not do well running for prime minister in our country either. We have our chauvinist pigs, old boys club as well, just like the Americans do. So, they put in a man instead. I would have voted for her. If she had been picked by the party, I would have voted for her. Because I think she was very intelligent. She was very diplomatic, but at the same time, she was hard as nails too. She had a lot of backbone.
Yeah, but I think he got in because it was one of his economic background, and we're talking about Carney, economic background, and the fact that he was a fresh face.
Yeah. Barb says Trudeau changed after his wife left him. Yeah, that's true. Being a politician in a position like prime minister in the upper, it's a very demanding job, and I am sure that it takes a toll on your family. I liked his wife, but unlike the first lady in the United States, the wife of a prime minister is usually in the shadows, and you don't hear of them doing anything at all. So, yeah. And God, I hope Mark Carney's wife gets a makeover, because it looks like his mother. Oh, that lady, she's very tall. but she really.
She's also an economist.
Yeah, she's an economist. Well, I mean, she's not stupid. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no flies on her. But I'm sorry, but she needs to look not like somebody's grandmother, kind of a thing. I mean, some people will think I'm being probably very chauvinistic and critical of her, but I am. I mean, you see her next to Carney, and she looks like she's his mother. So, yeah. But she's a very intelligent lady. We'll never see that because once a prime minister becomes prime minister, their wife goes in the background here for some reason, which is kind of a shame. That shouldn't happen. I wonder why that is. Maybe because they don't really have a title except wife to the prime minister. We don't call them the first lady
or they don't want them in the limelight type thing.
Maybe. I don't know. But, like look at Michelle Obama. She did a lot of things and still is going strong, that kind of thing. Melania, poor woman. But whatever. So yeah. Okay, so Vicky says to Betty, she says, I learned so much in school about Canada, but that was back in the late 40s and early 50s. Yeah, I don't think you learn much about it now. Yeah, Barb says she looks like the granny in the rocking chair on that painting, Wilsner's mother. She does. She does. Oh, come on. I hope if Mark Carney when he gets in, first thing he does is buy her a makeover with professionals. I mean, Polyev had one. So why not the prime minister's wife? She deserves it more than the leader of the Conservative Party with that. Yes, Darcy, I would agree. Michelle Obama was, well, so was Obama. I mean, that was the golden years, really, there of leadership. But can't go back into the past, can we? So anyways, I think that's it for now. I have no idea what we'll talk about next week, but it won't be about Canada per se as we have been. I'm sure there'll be things happening during the week that we can talk about. I did have half a notion. I haven't spoken to Walter about this yet, but going back and doing sort of like the reaction video to one of our very earliest Stephen and Walter lives, basically cut ourselves up on that. Could be fun. Might be funny. Let us know what you think of that idea. Because I think that could be fun. But whatever. We'll see. When we get around to that. I mean, he didn't roll his eyes when I just made that suggestion. So there might be potential here. Not that I have to do what he says. I don't need his agreement to everything. He's not the boss of me. Whatever. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate and get too sick on that. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us this week. And remember, there's still time. If you have been sitting on the fence, whether you want to come to the retreat or not, still openings, still can get on there. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.